Hit it, Judah.
Let's get ready to rumble!
You only turn one once, everyone. Welcome to Pastors Unfiltered. Today's special. Do you want to know why, Pastor Brandon?
We didn't get canceled.
We have not gotten canceled. It's our 1-year anniversary. Come on, Judah. Thank you. Man,
52 consecutive weeks of podcasting.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who supports us, our faithful, the Amanda Hopkins of the world who texts me every episode. And then also to all of you who doubted us. I would have doubted us too. But good, you know what? We're still here.
Hey, we have our 51 consecutive listeners every week.
We really do.
We have our faithful 51.
Did you know my daughter on Tale of a Whale, her podcast, she roasted me on her podcast? She said on the podcast, I have more listeners than my daddy's podcast.
Her podcast is 30 seconds long.
Her podcast gets 260 downloads.
Well, I want to mention, Linny, wherever you are, that 2 episodes ago, we broke 1,000 downloads on one episode.
We haven't even, that is, hey, in 1 year, let's just celebrate 52 episodes. We broke 1,000 downloads. We started a YouTube channel. We're on Spotify and Apple. We've had awesome
I don't know what our
guests.
total downloads is, but it's probably close to 15,000 total downloads over this time.
And I feel like the original intent of this podcast was for venture people.
To get to know us.
To get to know us a little more. You know, our church is larger and we don't always, get to know everyone as much as we'd like to, but it's awesome that it's expanded past venture.
Well,
That's
the fun
awesome.
thing for me is the diverse people on any Sunday morning that will come up to me and tell me they regularly listen to the podcast. You've got like teenagers
Yes.
up to retired senior citizens and everyone in between. And they're always asking, when is the next podcast? When can I be on the podcast? Why don't you do this on the podcast?
All the time people want to tell me what we need to do for the podcast. And I concur. It is odd to me the vast different people who listen to this.
So we were at Network Conference last week, you and I.
Yep.
And primarily the thing that people talk to me about in the lobby was they would say, hey, I really enjoy your podcast. Or you said this and I didn't agree with it on your podcast. It was one comment about the podcast after another. So, hey.
Wow.
People are listening.
Well, before we dive in,
You have become, Tony, a world-famous podcaster.
I don't know what world that is, an alternate reality, obviously. Hey, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who has sponsored us the last year. Number one, Logos Bible Software. You are faithful. Thank you. Don't forget to use promo code WeAreVenture to get a discount on your subscription to them. Secondly, King Size Movie Reviews. You've been there for us all the time. Thank you, Sean and Rebecca King. We've had... do the twins count?
They gave us a t-shirt.
Unsellable houses. Okay. I say we're more like brand ambassadors for them. Twin Win, our t-shirts. But PB, you get apparel all the time. Cowboy
Yes.
Cool.
We want to thank Cowboy Cool Apparel, all the free apparel that they give us for me to wear it. I am today wearing a hat that says, I got a guy, and my Dominic Canzone t-shirt. From Hardcore Italians, who is one of the companies that sponsors me. So I want to give a shout out to Hardcore Italians. If you go on their website, you see anything you like, you want a 20% discount, use the promo code FIGHTPASTOR, Hardcore Italians. But we want to thank them. Numerous other ones that I don't even remember off the top of my head anymore.
All I want in life, apart from everything else that Jesus has for me, is a golf sponsorship. I just want one.
I thought you were going to say you want an Arab apparel company to sponsor you.
Not right now. No. But hey, we do have a lot of special things we're doing. I thought, PB, it would be really cool for us to go over the top 5 cultural moments of 2023, everything that's happened over the last year.
So seriously, we've been podcasting for 52 weeks, for 1 year. So much has happened in our world over this last year. One of the key things to think about is we have to come up with content Every single week. Usually my wife will grab me after she listens to the weekly episode and she'll say, how did you guys come up with that? How do you guys constantly come up with content? Believe it or not, that is not as complicated as you would think because there's so many crazy things that happen in our world. So let's highlight. I've got my top 5. You've got yours. We have not talked about.
We have not.
I have a feeling some of ours will be the same.
Maybe.
But just to give you an idea to our listeners, in the last 12 months, these are things that have happened around the world. And Tony and I have podcasted faithfully through it all.
We have. And by the way, there's only been a handful of times that we pre-record an episode because one of us is gone or something's happening. We do this weekly, live, unedited. We don't go in post-production other than putting the audio and the video together. That's all we do, folks. It's truly unfiltered.
And pretty much every episode, you or I says something that we wished we wouldn't have said, that we wished we could go back and edit, but we're committed to what comes out of our mouth is what gets published.
Every week.
And we accept the consequences, good and bad, for whatever we say.
There it is. Okay, PB, top 5 moments of 2023. I'll kick us off. Number 1, the Titan submarine went missing while exploring the Titanic.
That is true. I forgot about that.
And the gentleman who said that they interviewed him on CBS, how he said it could reach the deepest of depths, and he controlled it using an Xbox controller.
It's just another example of rich people have so much money they don't know what to spend their money on, so they do bizarre things like that. Who would have ever thought that a submarine, man-made, controlled by a video game controller, who would have thought that wouldn't work?
James Cameron said this isn't going to work. I'd probably listen to James Cameron about that. But anyways, that was a big moment.
Well, here's the big one. Since we started podcasting, there's been a war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Russia invaded Ukraine. That has been going on the entire time we've been podcasting. This
has been going on for a while. Yeah.
We have nothing humorous to say about it.
No, nothing at all.
We believe in peace and would like that to be resolved. But that started during the time we've been podcasting.
In March of 2023, former President Donald Trump was indicted in New York, the first of his 4 criminal indictments that year.
He lost a civil trial, and he owes hundreds of millions of dollars to a lady.
And he's currently under trial again.
Yes.
For some hush money.
And is the Republican nominee for president.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
And if all of our predictions for 2024 were right, will be our future president coming November of this year.
Yep. Anywho.
I'll keep mine on the serious note. Probably one of the worst things that's happened in the time that we've been podcasting is the war in Israel.
It's true.
It's still going on. Led to the cancellation of the Church's Israel trip. Many lost lives, lots of conflict, lots of division around our country. In fact, currently there are protests at just about every major university in America. They're trying to figure out how to calm these protests down. But the war in Israel began since we've been podcasting. That's my last serious one.
Yeah, it's been a difficult time in Gaza, difficult time in Israel. Jesus, you are the reason. You're the voice we need. Third, a little more lighthearted. You went deep. You went right from the get-go. Global conflict.
Well, I couldn't not say these things that happened while we were. But now we're getting more lighthearted for my perspective.
Yeah, let's do it. Taylor Swift kicked off her Eras tour. Did you have that one too?
I did not.
She kicked off her Eras tour. Sold out stadiums. Multiple times. Internationally.
My daughter and your wife
TikTok
went
famous.
Viral. Getting free tickets to that concert.
And are now going to try to go again in Vancouver. Unbelievable.
Well, I also have a Taylor Swift one.
Okay.
Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce.
How about that?
And Taylor Swift single-handedly made the NFL popular. People watch the NFL now because of Taylor Swift.
Women watch the NFL now because of Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And men
Still probably watch the NFL because of Taylor Swift.
And now listen to Taylor Swift albums.
Raiders roll.
On a Taylor Swift note, Tony, what's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
None of them.
You
None
strike
of
me
them.
as a Shake It Off guy.
No. Cruel Summer is her only good song. That's about it. Her new album. Are you seeing how outraged Christians are getting at her new album? They're getting outraged. They're always upset about something.
Yeah, I got in an argument with your amazing wife. At network conference.
Did you really?
While we were eating gooey's.
About the
over
album?
the new Taylor Swift album, because I didn't like one song on the album. I thought it was like depressing and somber, and there wasn't one like catchy song. I like the pop Taylor
the album
Swift
sucks.
songs, so I'm not a fan of the new album.
Okay. Let's keep going. Barbenheimer just owned the box office.
I love the fact that you and I didn't talk about this because we have not said the same thing
Oh,
yet.
we haven't. Did you say that one too?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. What's yours then?
Out of Barbenheimer, which one of the two movies was your favorite?
Barbie.
Mine too.
Barbie. Oppenheimer, I couldn't get through it.
Three times I've fallen asleep during Oppenheimer. I
unnecessary-
still have never seen it.
Nah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it.
The Vegas Golden Knights win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, that did happen. This city. That's
I was flying to Turkey to go on a Holy Land tour of Turkey, was in a long layover at an airport, decked out in Knights gear, watching it in one of the bars in the airport. And I was running around the airport screaming when they won the Stanley Cup. I was thrilled.
Yep. And last but not least for me, last year the FDA gave Elon Musk the go-ahead to trial Neuralink brain implants on humans. And it's worked on that one dude that has it so far. He played chess. Did you know this?
Yes.
This is concerning. Also, did you know that they recalled every Cybertruck in America?
Yes. Did you know that my Tesla stock has dropped tremendously over the last 12 months, but is now starting to go up because just recently Elon Musk announced that he is going to come out with an affordable electric car?
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, I don't. It's going to come out in like 2027, so it won't matter. All right, my very last top 5 things that happened in the last 12 months. The greatest college football team
Come on.
made your Washington Huskies, made the national championship.
Yes.
Husky fandom was at an all-time high.
Higher than 91.
Before the wheels landed on the plane back in Seattle, Kalen DeBoer, the coach of the Huskies, had left and gone to Alabama. The entire team entered the transfer portal. So we went from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the valley. Once again, reiterating the famous line that I've used for decades. You need to develop habits on the mountain that will bring you through the valley. So I developed a habit that I am a Husky fan. I renewed my season tickets when we were on the top of the mountain.
Hey.
Now we're in the valley.
You know, it is the most Seattle sports thing ever. Every Seattle sports team, except the Seahawks, because I guess they won a Super Bowl, all we do is taste and see. That's all we do.
For our 1-year anniversary, we are going to try something that we've never done before. This is either going to be the hit of the century or going to be an example of something that we'll never do again. We are going to call in special guests who are going to celebrate our 1 year with us.
And a variety of guests. We have decided it is time. I can't believe our worlds are colliding. We'll be calling in our mothers,
Yep.
Barbara and Magda. Magda, short for Magdalene. We're calling in all random people.
Well, we want you to be surprised. So we're going to start by calling in Brandon and Tony's moms.
Here we go. Should we call my mom first? Can we get
All
this
right.
out of the way?
So it's a Magdala.
Magda.
So here's what we're going to do. For each guest, Tony and I is going to ask one question.
Here we go. Can't believe.
Hello?
Mom?
Yes. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Mom. How are you?
Good, Bob. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to the podcast, Mom.
Good.
I'm joined with Pastor Brandon.
Hi there, Tony's
Hello.
mom. Can I refer
Hello.
to you as
Hello.
Tony's mom?
Sure.
Mom, we are calling Pastor Brandon's mom after this, but this is our 1 year anniversary episode. Thank you for being with us.
Sure, Baba. Anytime.
So both of us have a question for you, and that's all we'll do. We won't take very much of your time, but I'll let your son Tony ask you his question first.
Mom,
Okay.
who is your favorite child?
Yes.
Me, Amira, or Shadi?
You're putting me on the spot, Tony.
You're supposed to say Tony. Okay,
Okay, we'll say Tony this time.
thank
okay.
you. There it is.
Oh,
There it is.
All right. Again, we want to thank you for joining us on our 1 year anniversary episode. Here's my question.
okay.
In the last 12 months, your son Tony has become a world famous podcaster.
Oh my gosh.
How has Tony changed over the last year?
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Yeah, Tony grew a lot in this past year, especially. He had that mission to bring people to God, more people, especially in Seattle. And this is something we're all so proud of him. We all support him. You cannot imagine. He grew a lot in this past year. I don't know what else,
Thanks,
I can
Mom.
say. He's as a child, since he was 1 year old, Tony dedicated his life to God. He knew how to pray at the age of 1. He always took his grandpa, his hand, to sit and pray all the time, and that's amazing how he grew like this now. It's not surprising to me, but and I love him for that, to
Thank you,
dedicate
Mom.
his life all for Jesus. Yes.
That is very sweet. Thank you for sharing that. Can I ask you just one bonus question about Tony?
Sure.
How old was Tony when you, as his mom, thought he is going to be completely bald as an adult?
Was it high
Okay.
school?
Here's the answer. First of all, half the family are bald. So Tony inherited this, unfortunately, from all men in our family. And
That's bad.
I believe after middle school, yes, he started losing all his hair,
So middle school.
which is okay. After middle school, yes.
Puberty backfired on me.
It's okay.
Well, thank you, Mom. I appreciate it.
I still love him. I still love him so much.
I love you too. Thank you,
God,
Mom.
God bless both of you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mom.
Thank you for having me. I'm not a big speaker, but thank you for having me.
Hey,
We're
you
going to
did
bring
great.
you back in the months to come.
Thanks, Mom. We'll see you later.
Sure. Thank you.
Bye,
Have
Mom.
a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye. Bye.
That was so sweet.
All right, there we have it. Tony's mom.
My mom was so sweet.
We need to call. It's time to call Brandon's mom. We're calling Barb.
I can't wait for this.
Let's get ready to rumble!
I wonder if people driving home listening to our podcast today going, what is going on? But I like this.
The weird part is the chance that my mom's actually going to pick up is going to be slim.
Hello.
Mom,
Oh, Brandon, hi.
you are live on our podcast. This is our 1 year celebration episode, and we couldn't do this podcast without calling you.
Okay. What's up?
So both Tony and I have a question for you, and we'll start with Tony. Tony has a question.
Hello, Mrs.
right.
Beals. Thank you
Go
for taking
Hi
our
there.
call. Hello. Question. who's your favorite child, Jen or Brandon?
Oh gosh, I am never going to answer that question. Are you kidding me? They're both my favorite. How could they not be my favorite? They're both so wonderful.
That's right.
This is true. Okay, well, maybe part B to that question is, why do you think I am the voice of reason?
Well, I think you're the voice of reason because you stick up for me when Brennan picks on me. For instance, remember that time he told everybody that I stayed up or that I got up at 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
And you said, the next time the blog was going on, podcast, excuse me, you told him the truth, that I get up early in the morning and read until later.
Thank you.
So that was good. I appreciated that.
That has made Tony the voice of reason. That he is more privy to your sleep schedule than your son.
Well, that kind of surprised me. I couldn't understand that.
Okay.
Why is that, Tony? How did you know that?
In all honesty, Barb, I just took a guess. That's all.
Oh, you did not.
Well, Mom,
I think it was. Go ahead.
Well, here's my question, Mom. Tony has now become a world famous podcaster over the last year. How has podcast fame changed Tony over the last year?
That's ridiculous. Please don't answer that, Barb.
No, I want to hear, Mom.
I don't know how I could answer that. I never heard a podcast until you started yours.
So we're the first podcast that you've ever listened to?
Yes, that's true.
So our podcast got you into podcasts.
True.
Wow. Do you listen to any other podcasts now besides us?
Well, not really.
All right.
I tried listening to that one that you were talking about with the football players, but I couldn't understand a word they said, so I quit.
Travis Kelsey's podcast.
The New Heights podcast.
Yeah.
Well, this is the extra credit question, Mom. By the way, Mom, you will always be my favorite mom.
Oh, thank you.
I am forever a mama's boy, very proudly a mama's boy.
Yeah.
Out of all of our podcasts, which one was your favorite?
Oh, okay. I liked the one where Di was with you and you talked about friendships and relationships. That was really good.
Oh,
that was
the
a good
circles
one.
of relationships. Of course, it would be the one that my wife was on.
Yeah. And then the other one I liked was the people from Egypt, the missionaries.
Jake and
I thought
Jackie.
they were really good. Yeah, they were kind of inspiring because of what they were doing in a country where it was so hostile to them.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Mom. Any last words? Your grandson, Judah, is also listening on this. If there's anything you want to say to Judah.
Hi, Judah. Judah, he's such a sweet kid. He's the best.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. Yeah. We promise we'll bring you in at some point in the next few months again for a longer talk.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, can I just say, our mothers are sweet humans. And we try to get them to say these funny things about us, but they're just too kind. My mom talked about my prayer life with my grandpa.
So, since we just finished Sweet Moms.
Oh, here we go.
Now, I have a feeling these answers won't be as sweet.
The real voice
of
reason.
So we're going to call this is our moment where we confront Lyndsay and Leslie about stealing the name of our podcast.
It's about time. We need to do this.
Call Leslie Davis.
Yeah, HGTV stars. Here we go. You FaceTiming them? Good.
They're not going to answer.
They're not going to answer. No, they're...
What's going to happen is they're not going to answer, and then they're going to call back while we're in the middle of talking to somebody else.
Or in the bathroom. Okay. Should we call my boy Tim?
Okay, we'll try them again. Do you want to text them and tell them to call us when they're ready? So we are going to interrupt whoever we're talking to for them. I also have Bob Ricky ready.
Oh, is he ready?
Do we want to call Bob Ricky first?
1 sec. My friend Tim is ready. Can we call Tim?
Okay.
So Tim is Pastor Brandon's former youth kid. He is a pastor in Alabama. Tim is a legend. He's been a friend of mine for over 10 years now. And we're going to call him in. Tim is one of the funniest individuals I've ever met in my life. And he is borderline a PGA. He is a PGA pro golfer. He just doesn't play on tour.
All right. Call Tim Cravens.
David's calling it in. Judah, did you hear what Barb said about you? She said, you could tell Judah's the favorite.
Oh, no.
It's about freaking time. I had to turn down 3 deals. I had 3 houses to write and 3 autos.
Hey, welcome, Tim Cravens. Tim, when was the last time you and I talked?
Vegas, when Lyndsay had a broken leg and you told me to meet you at the Buffalo Wild Wings.
And the Huskies
watched the
lost.
game.
The Huskies lost to Auburn. I remember back in the Chris Peterson days.
You did. You probably said about 7 words to me in 4 hours.
Why don't you tell everyone how doing our 2-year internship in Modesto got you a master's degree?
I didn't know if you were going to save this to the end or bring it out right at the beginning, and I'm glad you kind of came straight out the chute with it. I wasn't going to do this thing with Brandon unless I was going to probably get a PhD. And I got a master's, so I settled for the master's certificate of completion, ministry certificate, whatever it was. But
a master's commission certificate of completion. So Tim would finish one class and he would look at me and say, how close am I to my bachelor's degree? Like, it was like one class was supposed to be the equivalent of like a year of college.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I was like 20 years old at the time, wanting to get married and wanted to know if I was going to be poor in ministry. And I needed to know I legitimately was going to get hired and to be paid. So I'd constantly bother Brandon about every month and say, I'm going to get paid from this, right? And Brandon would reassure me, and it would just kind of keep me going. And I just kept working for the janitor at Calvary and did what I had to do. Brandon, I can't believe I've known you, bro. I just thought about it. I came to Calvary and I remember seeing happy 30th birthday, Pastor Brandon, in your office.
Wow.
When I first went there. That's how long I've known you, man. And now you got gray whiskers and, you're living the high life on your boat out on Lake Washington. And one of these days I'll go out there with you.
Yeah, we're still believing that at some point you guys are going to move to Seattle.
Brandon's been wanting me to be his children's pastor for about 20 years now.
I don't need you to do kids anymore. We love our kids pastor. Maybe become our young adult pastor. Tony would be all for us replacing our young adult pastor.
Yes, she's a thorn in my side.
Tim, have you been listening to our podcast over this last year?
Well, every time I'm on a phone call with Tony, I feel like I'm already hearing the podcast. But yeah, I did watch the Driscoll one, and I did. I think I just played back the one where you guys did talk about me for a second there on episode 46. So yes, I've been tuning in. I've been involved. I've been engaged.
So that leads to both Tony and I want to ask you a question or two in honor of our 1 year. And my first question is, are you and Lyndsay open to a podcast where I bring both of you in and we negotiate your daughter marrying one of my sons?
My gosh. She's a busy lady, Maddie is. I mean, she's on high demand. She was just in Atlanta, and she's going to be on a TV miniseries. I can't say which one it is, so we'll be announcing that pretty quick. But I did want to tell you this, Beals, You about would have passed out. She calls me and she's like, Dad, guess who my trailer's right next to? And I just about passed out because of how much I love this guy. They put her trailer next to Sly Stallone. She was next to Rocky. She was next to Sly.
Is she in the Tulsa Kings?
No, she's not in Tulsa Kings,
Okay.
but that's what he was filming. She goes, Dad, I could hear him talk to his dog. And so that was really cool. I'm like, I can't wait to tell Beals that. He's going to dig that. I still have a Rocky poster in my insurance office here in Alabama. So Brandon kind of set that off in me. He had his Rocky poster up for years. But anyway, she's busy. I think she's kind of off the market. She is interested in somebody, but you never anything could be negotiable, right? You just never know, Beals. So, I mean, maybe this could be a possibility.
Let's get the date on the calendar. Odds are, I mean, your daughter's going to get famous. She's going to kick this guy to the curb. So she'll be available. And both of my sons are studs. And we'll go through a process of negotiating which one will marry your daughter.
That's good stuff.
Tony has a question for you.
Tim, I have a question for you.
What's up, Scheffler?
Tim, what is one of your funniest Brandon moments from Modesto?
There's many. I almost killed him one time coming back from a speaking engagement. I went on a one-way road on the airport, and that kind of gave him an anxiety attack, and it was kind of fun to watch. So that happened one time. I remember one time let's just say we were doing fantasy baseball, and my team was stacked. I had Canseco, David Cone. I had a lot of the best, and I did have Barry Bonds at the time, and I think he wanted Bonds, so we traded Bonds, and he gave me his Disneyland passes. Back in the day when you could, and I had hair back then. So Brandon, when he would comb his Al Pacino hair back, his Italian Godfather hair, and I'm not Italian, I'm Irish, but I got a little Spain in me too. So, anyway, the back of the card looked like a worn out Costco card kind of, and you can't really tell whose face that was. So, I mean, we got into Disneyland, like at least 5 times that year back in 2001. And it was a pretty good exchange I had with him. So that was fun with Beals.
Well, and then the benefit is I got Bonds on my team, and it helped me win our fantasy league.
Yeah, totally. And any way I could help, I was just happy to go to Disney. I remember one time I traveled with him. I lost my job as a server at Tony Roma's because he told me my internship came first. So that was one thing that happened. I remember I got up there and I kind of had like sleep apnea, and he looked at me and he's like, "Oh my God, you snore?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, This is a problem," he said. And I think I may have slept either in the bathtub or outside. Or I may have stayed up all night for him. I may have stayed up. I sacrificed. I prayed. I was an Abishai. It was an Abishai scenario, really. I was all in for my leader, for sure.
Well, I do feel like, even though you were dating before you were an intern, I do feel like we were instrumental in you and Lyndsay getting married. So for all the challenges of being an intern, you owe us Lyndsay.
Huge. And I remember coming into Brandon's office, and I was like, "I'm going to quit the internship." And he's like, "No, you're not." He goes, "Lindsay's she's going to work. You're going to finish your internship." And she ended up going back to school. And I mean, you kind of helped us in a rough moment. So I did finish everything. And you were instrumental, Beals. You were, very much so.
All right. Here's my question for you, Tim. You ready? Over the last 12 months, Tony has developed into a world-famous podcaster. Oh my God. How has this fame changed Tony?
How has it changed him? I don't know if he's become more humble. You're supposed to...
Yeah, I'm here, Tim.
Here. Oh, guy, man. How has it changed him? I mean, I don't know. What's everybody else saying about this?
Well, this question backfired. He asked my mom, and she said, "I'm very proud of my son for starting a church."
I think I was a little blown away. I mean, I knew how funny Tony was. Obviously, he calls me for golf advice all the time, and we're friends and everything. But I am pleasantly surprised, bro. You are a little bit more, probably more gifted than I give you credit for. So just to see you in action,
It's backfiring on you.
this podcast.
Thank you, Tim.
Because he always comes to me with like, I suck at golf, and Tim, I'm screwing up here. So I'm always fixing golf problems. And then all of a sudden you see him preach and you see him on this podcast, and he's a stud, and he's the Scotty Scheffler podcast. What can I say?
Tim just called me the Scotty Scheffler of podcast, Greenewalt. Oh,
Myself.
Love
I
you,
just
brother.
redeemed myself.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us, man. We're going to call Bob, Ricky, and then Lyndsay and Leslie. But thank you, bro. I love you, man.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
All right. Cigars are awesome. Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Call Lyndsay next. She's
That was...
We're going to call Lyndsay Lamb right now.
we're-
She's waiting.
We need to bring him on the podcast. Tim is just a legend.
So you're going to ask the girls about the name.
Yeah. I hope you see that this is backfiring on you when you keep asking people how this has changed me.
Well, let's see how it goes these next two guests.
Dude, I'm going to light them up. They took our name. I'm coming back for it.
All right. We're calling
Which one are we
the
calling? Lyndsay or
winners of
Leslie?
Rock the Block. I think they're going to be on speakerphone together.
Lyndsay intimidates me.
Are you calling them? And they're not answering?
This is a process. No, I gotta stop a recording.
What? When you FaceTime them, what are they seeing, David?
Well, we're gonna put a pastor's over the top.
But can they see us, or are they looking at...
They know you're calling, right?
I mean, I thought you said she.
Hey!
Do we have both Lyndsay and Leslie?
Hello? Hello?
Oh,
Hey, this is our 1 year podcasting anniversary, and we couldn't do it without calling the winners of Rock the Block.
come on.
Hey guys, we're just standing in a house. I'm staging one of our new unsellables to reveal, and Leslie's working outside on the yard. I'm planting.
What are you planting?
You usually plant flowers, Pastor Brandon.
Okay. You can come and plant flowers at my house too if you want.
Sounds great. I'll let you know when I'm available. She'll need to start at her house first if she's going to do projects outside of the show.
Okay, that's fine. Well, this is our 1 year anniversary. We both have a couple questions for you guys.
That's true. We're going to call our legal department because we should have trademarked that 5 years ago. He told me he did it. Our guy told me he did
Hey,
it.
Would that be
I-
Ariel? Is
I-
Ariel your legal?
No, I asked Brandon Greenwald like 2 months ago to start making t-shirts, and he hasn't made it yet. So we're a little bit behind. So the dream.
I think he's busy making our t-shirts. Thanks, Brandon. Love our merch. Love our
Are you
new
serious
merch,
right now?
Brandon. Thanks.
BG, you're working for them too?
we feel cheated on.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
So we want to know. I have two questions for you.
I'm gonna
My
quit.
first one is: when do Tony and I get to be on a TV show with you?
Well, Tony has played numerous characters on the show.
I have.
So you need to look for him. He's kind of like the Easter egg. And Brandon, we're waiting for that special role to invite you. And we just haven't found that role that we feel like really highlights your gifting yet.
All right. So do we anticipate this next season that role coming, or do I have to keep waiting?
I feel like it'll be season 7 because, 7 the holy number. We're on season 5. I think we only committed to 6.
Yeah.
So season 7 feels right.
Season 7 feels real good.
It really does. It really does. Thank you, Jesus.
This is-
Heart emoji,
guys
prayer
should-
emoji, cross emoji, flag emoji.
Oh, okay. We're going to come back to that one. Here's another question for you. Over the last year, Tony has become a world famous podcaster. I would love to know how you guys have seen Tony change due to this fame.
I'm sorry, who's Tony?
This question has been backfiring on you. Thank
He's-
you. That's
he's-
exactly the response
He's
we
the bald
needed.
guy on the podcast.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought that guy's name was Morgan.
Yeah.
They don't even know who I am. I'm done. I'm leaving.
He's the shorter bald guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I haven't seen much change. Have you?
No.
He stayed humble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wears the same clothes from 4 years ago, so that's pretty humble.
Listen up. We're on a budget. We're church planters.
Love it.
Yes. Thank you. This question keeps backfiring on you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this has backfired over and over again. All right, give us one favorite memory of Tony and I as a closing question.
Oh, favorite memory of the two of you together?
Just in general.
In general.
Okay.
Wow, in general.
Jeez.
This is your
Oh,
chance
so
to say
many.
something unfiltered.
Oh, wow. I don't think your podcast is ready for that. Judah, get your finger ready. I think one of my favorite memories of Tony is the fact that he
He was a comedian for a while. Remember that when he was doing his stand-up?
I think he's still a comedian, Lindsay, in his heart.
Oh, is
Yeah.
he still trying that?
I think he is.
I thought he gave up on that years ago.
No.
Okay.
I love that he got Samson, got rid of Samson, and now is ministering to Samson's new owners in the same neighborhood. So I really hope Samson ends up at your church, Tony. I really do.
He needs
I feel like that'll be
Jesus.
a full circle.
That'd be a full circle.
And then PB, I think one of my favorite memories of PB is finding a shake weight in your living room.
Yes, that was one of my favorite. And finding out it was actually yours.
Yeah. And then Bob Ricky showing us what a shake weight was because we didn't know. So thank you. Shout out to Bob Ricky.
This is my favorite episode of all time.
All right. Well, I'm going to wait patiently for my invite to be on the TV show. Thanks for joining us on our 1-year anniversary.
Hey, hold on.
Oh, you got
Shout
something.
out to our favorite
Shout out to our favorite contractor in the house.
What up, team?
Oh, is it Owen? I can't see the camera. Is it Owen?
Owen.
Owen!
Is that Judah in the background?
That's Judah.
It is.
Judah.
He's all
I
grown up,
told Judah
Owen.
to have the button ready to push because they asked us to be unfiltered. The green button. Oh.
I love Owen. He's so beautiful.
All right, back to filming,
All right.
guys.
We love you
Okay,
guys.
thanks,
See you later.
guys.
Thank
Congrats on
you.
1 year. Love you guys. Proud of you always.
Bye.
Bye. We really need to talk about the shake weight at some point. in
It's
the
just
coming
not
week.
true. They,
Go on. I know you're on sabbatical. We'll talk about it when you get back. There's
you know
pressing
how
things.
you know how in movies cops plant. You know how movies cop plant items so that they can
Yes.
have somebody arrested. They planted that there. All right. The last phone call we're gonna make is to Bob Ricky. Everybody's being really nice to you.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna let it be. This is not working for you. Why don't you ask him a different question? Like,
Oh, Bob's not gonna let
Bob,
me down.
Okay, if Bob says something nice, that's how you know hell is freezing over, folks. He's probably on a tractor right now, listening to Taylor Swift, eating beef jerky.
Oh, I probably should tell him that David's calling him.
Hey, dude, what's up?
Why'd you say it like that?
Bob, this is Brandon. You're live on Pastors Unfiltered.
I'm at a food show in Idaho. Sorry, man. I had to get out of the room.
You made it sound like you're in the bathroom. Hey, dude, what's
So
up?
this is our 1 year
Go ahead.
anniversary of podcasting, and we wanted to celebrate it with you, our favorite farmer.
I can't believe you guys are still on the air, that people actually still want to listen to you.
I'm not
There
sure
it
if they
is.
want to listen to us, but they do. We both have a question for you in honor of our 1 year. I'm going to start with Tony. Tony has a question. Go for it.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. It's Tony, your favorite Tony.
Yeah, buddy.
Bob, question for you. Can we come and do an episode of the podcast at the farm? And we'll all wear Carhartts, cowboy boots, and I would love maybe could do like a line dance together, the three of us.
Well, if we're going to be doing a line dance, we know who the professional that is, and he's sitting across the table from you. So he's going to have to teach us.
This is true. This is true.
Maybe. So
I
if
would
we
love for that. Let's do it. We'll make fools of ourselves.
can we have Sarah be on the podcast then too?
Ooh, you're pushing it. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The podcast is unfiltered, so
Okay, then she'll do it.
all right. All right, Bob, here's my big question for you. Over the last 12 months, Tony Matar has become a world famous podcaster. How has fame changed Tony?
Well, the one thing that has changed Tony is he hasn't, it's like his inability to keep score at golf. I don't know what happened. He has this delusion that he's actually a decent golfer. I'm not sure how he came about to that, because I've played golf with Tony. I'm telling you,
I'm done.
I'm horrible. And he takes it to a whole nother level of horribleness. And that's why I like golf with him. He makes me look good.
Bob, we're doing the match. 9 holes, 1v1. I'm coming to you, Snohomish.
Hey, when you're as famous as Tony, you're allowed multiple mulligans in scoring.
Dude, Tony's a big deal. Just ask him. He'll tell you.
This finally worked out. Bob, thank you for all your support. We're still willing to allow Bob's Farm to be one of our sponsors. We only request free sweet corn, and then we'll sponsor. You can be our sponsor.
We'll make it happen.
All right. Enjoy your food show. Anything you want to add, Tony?
No, I do love you, Bob, and I'll be texting you after this because I think we need to work some things out.
I love you, buddy.
Thank you, man.
All right. See you, Bob.
See you guys.
I love how he answered that phone. Hey, guys, what's up? Like he was hiding from someone or in the bathroom.
Well, this has been amusing. Should we call anybody else? Anybody else we want to call?
I think I want to call. I think there's one person that would be
we're
hilarious.
not even an hour into this. We're calling some people.
Okay. Well, I mean, Di and Kai are there.
Hey.
Are we good?
They haven't even launched an episode of their podcast yet.
All right. Diaz, let's call Lindbeck.
Calling Christian Lindbeck.
We're calling Christian Lindbeck, who pronounces Mitch Hannigan. I just had to explain to Christian Lindbeck when Pastor Claire at our Seder meal 5 years ago said distrayoto from the platform.
I don't even know what that means.
She said, well, it was like, and the enemy destroyed something. And she goes, and the enemy distrayotoed, because she didn't know how to read it in front of hundreds of people.
Dude, Christian's like blocking me.
Okay, call Claire.
Christian's blocking
Make
you?
Jesus famous.
No, we don't like that one.
Who are we calling? Claire? Claire's busy. Claire's at a coffee shop. She's with her husband. She's snowboarding. I don't want to call Claire. She's so mean.
Yo.
Christian, we want to welcome you. This is our 1 year anniversary of podcasting. We're calling in special guests. Tony requested you.
Where are you right now? I can't see your face. Where are you?
I'm right here.
Where's here? Home?
Hey.
Seattle?
Oh, no, I'm in the conference room now. I was in Alex's office.
Oh. Nice.
Well, we just have 2 quick questions for you on our 1 year anniversary. We'll start with Tony. He wants to talk about your pronunciation of Mitch Hannigan.
Okay, so when you said Mitch Hannigan,
yes,
what was going through your mind?
Tony doesn't go to my mind because I don't know any of the baseball players' names. I don't know what positions they play. You're lucky that I got as close as Hannigan. Frankly, I think you should be saying, how did you get so close? Since you don't know who any of those people are, you nailed it with Hannigan. That's darn close.
Okay, so part B of my question is, if we brought you a gooey to your office, would you eat it?
No, because that is disgusting. It's probably like 8,000 calories. You guys are going to die. Morgan is probably on his deathbed right now because he had a gooey each night. I have a picture of Brandon. We ordered gooeys the first night. And for those of you who don't, if you're listening, you don't know what a gooey is. It's an absurd sundae. And maybe that's already been explained, but it's like an 8-pound sundae that is also just covered in candy and stuff crammed in it. And the first night we ordered them, and Brandon was kind of having conversations and doing multiple things. And the lady's like, do you want a regular one? He's like, yeah. Bring me a regular one. And then when it shows up, that sundae is the size of his head. Brandon, did you see that picture where you look like stunned when they've dropped it off in front of you?
I haven't seen it, but you did notice how I slid it in front of Claire, so everybody thought she ate it, not me.
Yes, they're ridiculous.
Hey, are you aware that Mitch Haniger is my wife's celebrity crush?
It's weird.
Oh, 100%. And she almost died when I called him Hannigan.
Oh,
however, she was like pulling her hair and like, how do you not know? But
so it is odd.
Here's my question for you, Christian. I've asked all of the special guests that we've called in the same question. So over the last 12 months, Tony has become a world famous podcaster. I want to know how this newfound fame has changed Tony from your perspective.
Oh my gosh. His newfound fame as a world famous podcaster. You know what? I'll tell you how Tony's getting his podcast voice. Have you noticed Tony's he's got he gets his smooth, his mellow podcast voice?
My NPR voice.
Yes.
He should be, I think Tony should be one of those guys that reads Audible books.
Ooh, yeah.
We're listening to
it was,
NPR.
Yeah. So I think Tony in the last, what it's done is change his speaking voice.
See, Pastor Brandon's asked everyone this question, even Barbara Beals, and it's backfired on him every single time. So thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Christian. Any last words you want to say on our 1-year anniversary of podcasting?
No, I love the podcast. You know, the best one is the one that I was on. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, my favorite one. These were fun. Thanks for doing them.
Thank you, brother. Love you, man.
Thanks, Christian.
Right. Love you guys.
Bye. All right, we need to call Claire because I want to see if Claire remembers
where is she?
that you've mocked her for her pronunciation.
She's probably invisible. Is she even alive, guys?
Should we also call in Sean King? Where do we think he is at in the world?
I don't know. I don't think we should call Sean King. He's probably busy.
Call Sean King.
Oh, let's call Johnny White.
No, we're going to call Claire first.
Johnny White, my spiritual stepson. That's what I call him because he acts like one to me. What you want, Pastor? What you need, a cookie? He is probably sleeping. I had a long night at youth. Oh, get over it, bro.
Hey, you're going to have him.
Who are we calling? Claire. Hey, Claire. It's Tony. You remember me?
I do.
No, all I did was lead you to the Lord, be your leader, get you a job at the church, all that. Hey, anyways, it's our 1-year anniversary of the podcast. We're filming live right now. How are you?
So good. I'm actually in the office with Pastor Johnny.
Oh,
you can put Johnny on speakerphone.
Yeah, my spiritual stepson.
We would.
PB says I can put it on speakerphone. Little does he know, FaceTime is automatically on speakerphone.
I call him my spiritual stepson because he treats me like a stepson would. Love and care.
So we're going to ask both of you a question in honor of our 1-year anniversary at podcasting. Tony he announced publicly how Claire misquoted a name in the Bible. And why don't you tell everybody that story?
Claire, remember the Seder experience when you said he destroyotoed the grave?
Oh, I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah.
We just talked about that.
And then you laughed, and then you couldn't finish, and then I had to pick up the slack for you. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I was just telling that story the other night with you. That was a really good time. Do you want to ask a follow-up question on that, or is that it?
You just want to shame her?
I just want to ask, why can't you be nice to me? I think that's truly what's on my mind today.
Dude, it's because you're never in the office anymore. And so I feel like now when I do see you once a month, I have to it's been held in from the last month of not seeing you.
Okay.
The harassment.
Okay. So rather than be kind, like, hey, how are you? How are things going? You feel like, well, I just got to let loose on this guy.
Hey, Claire, I think
Correct.
in our 1 year anniversary of podcasting, I'd like to make an announcement that we all decided something at Network Conference as it related to you and Nolan. We made a group decision, and you guys have agreed graciously that your first child's name is going to be Rupert. So your first child is going to be Rupert Razor.
Wait, hold on. I think Christian needs to be a part of this conversation, to be honest, but he's going into a different office. His very passionate vote was not Rupert. It was Rowdy. He wanted our first child to be named Rowdy Racer.
Okay, here's the deal. If you have a daughter can be
Rebel Racer for the daughter.
Rebel Racer for the daughter, Rowdy Racer for the son. We already said, yeah.
Okay, if you have twins, it can be Rowdy Razor and Rupert Razor.
Yeah.
Why Rupert? That's such a horrible name.
Well, because we want him to never get picked on. It's a strong name. People will respect him. Hey, question for Johnny White.
What's up?
Yeah, where do you get off, man?
I just like to honor because I'm honorable.
Okay, there it is.
All right, I have a question for both of you. This is my question. After 12 months, Tony has become a world-famous podcaster. How has fame over these last 12 months changed Tony? Let's start with Johnny.
Listen, he acts like he doesn't know us anymore. He's completely switched up. I try to set up lunch. I try to hang out with him. I try to take him out to see the new Spider-Man movie that came. They re-released in the movie theaters, and he's just too big time. He's too busy. He's too busy in the city.
Too busy feeding my children. Too busy taking care.
I'll tell you how. I was just at Network Conference over the last few days, and I must say, the conference should have been called the Tony Matar Conference because that man's name got mentioned more times than anyone else. And every time Tony's name got mentioned, he stood up. He stood up and went like this.
And bowed.
What?
And bowed. And then he stood in the lobby with a pen and paper for everyone to autograph. It was weird. I think that's how things.
You know, the craziest part is that the ACMR and all the giving reports came out at Network Conference. Venture, out of the 400 churches in our entire network, is the third largest church in our network. We are the fifth largest missions giving church in our entire network. And all anybody wanted to talk about was Tony.
It's true. And Tony took it. He loved the attention.
He didn't stop it. It's all about you, Tony. It's all about you.
No one bought any of my books.
It's because you haven't written a book yet.
It was there. No one bought it.
Hey, guys, thank you very much. Get back to work.
Absolutely.
You're not getting a raise.
Don't know
with that attitude.
All right, this is fun.
I just can't do this anymore.
Where are we at? Have we hit an hour yet?
Do you think our people who are still listening right now are going, gosh, what is happening?
Should we wind this down?
I think maybe
It's called Tina.
let's call Tina. If any of you who don't know who Tina is, Tina Hale is Pastor Brandon's administrative assistant.
She's gonna have no idea.
She has no idea that we're calling. This is how she'll answer the phone.
Hi, David.
Hi, David. We should call Nicole. Where is she?
Hello, David.
Hey, Tina Hale. This is Pastor Tony and Brandon Beals. We are here filming live. Pastor's Unfiltered. How are you? This is live.
She's gonna show herself.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. You don't have to show your face. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, I know we just put you on the spot. Welcome to the podcast. First question for you. Have you ever listened to the podcast?
I have.
Oh, praise God.
What is your all-time favorite episode of the podcast?
The one with Leslie on it.
Oh, the Leslie. Well, Leslie's also on this one too.
That's my least favorite one.
Oh. Well, not right now, though, right?
No, we called her about 45 minutes ago. We both have one question for you. This is our 1-year anniversary of podcasting, so we're calling in special people. What our listeners might not know is Tina is my personal assistant. So basically, Tina functions as my brain. She is also my favorite sister-in-law.
Don't you only have one sister?
She's my favorite sister-in-law.
Okay, well, all right. Tina, I'm going to ask you one question, and then Pastor Brandon will ask you a question that's it's just egregious and ludicrous. So here's my first question for you. Tina, who is your favorite staff member? Be honest.
Oh, gosh. That's so hard. Yeah. Probably Heather.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, you can't say Heather.
Does his name rhyme with phony?
I would say she is going to say her favorite staff member is Kaylee.
Oh, yes, I do love Kaylee. I was going to say maybe, well, it would have been Riley if it would have been a couple weeks ago.
Okay, let's dwindle this.
How am I not your favorite staff member?
Well, that maybe would have been the next one.
Okay. I'll take it.
That's called job security. All right, Pastor Brand, why don't you ask her a question?
So here's my question, Tina. I'm going to say it slow so you can thoughtfully think how you're going to respond. Over the last 12 months, Tony has become a world-famous podcaster. How has fame over the last 12 months changed Tony?
I don't know. I love seeing Tony. I don't get to see him every day, but when he comes in the office, he's always positive and says hi to everyone. And I get to sit next to him. So I enjoy getting to work with Tony, but I don't get to see him very much because he's not a QB anymore.
This is why I love Tina.
So when he does sit down in his cubicle next to you, does he actually work?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what else he would be doing there.
Tina,
he's working.
Tina, Kirsten, and I, and sometimes Melanie, were the cubies because we all share cubicles. Yes. QB sisters.
All right. Thanks, Tina. Anything else you want to say on our 1-year anniversary of podcasting? This is your podcast debut.
No, just you don't need to call me again because this is really embarrassing. So, one and done.
All right. We'll call you next week, too. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, gosh.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Well, I would say this was successful. Today was good. I feel like these questions backfired on us. PB, how do you feel like it went? 1-year anniversary. This was fun.
Yeah, we have been wanting to call people in forever. I think this is going to have to be a bit. Maybe only once a month, but we should do it.
Once a month. Yeah. So, hey, for those of you still listening, thank you for being with us. This was a blast. Coming up in the next few weeks, we have incredible guests on the show.
Marty Solomon is next week.
Marty Solomon, Jeremy Johnson, Virgil Brown, and come June, my lovely co-host, David Diaz, will begin to...
Not co-host, intern.
Intern, David Wilbur Diaz.
Yep.
We don't know his middle name yet.
No, that has been decided. We took all the votes. David is changing his driver's license to David Wilbur.
Yes, he'll be with me in the summer.
We're going to have Rupert Razor and David Wilbur.
What a 2 peas in a pod. Man, we're going to have a good summer. We got some fun guests coming up. A lot of things that we're going to be doing. So, hey, we love you guys. Honestly, thank you. This has been an incredible year. I am believing that the next year is going to be even better. I can't believe we've made it a year, but we're really celebrating all that God has done. Any final thoughts, PB?
I will be back in August.
There it is, folks. Hey, don't
Raiders
forget.
roll.
Gosh darn it, Judah. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. If you can't give us 5 stars, don't give us any stars. We love you guys so much. Thanks for being with us. Don't forget.
Jesus is the hope of the world.
There it is. We'll see you guys. I'll see you in August, PB.